Hey, it's your extra mile realtor here, Vitality Real Estate Group. So tonight we're gonna do everything about real estate, from real estate school to basically the end of real estate school. I know last night I did a 2 minute podcast, um, but I was just trying to make sure that everything was gonna run right on my podcast. Is kind of like new to me, so it went great. I got the 2 minutes done. And so here we are. We're making our next podcast, and we're live on TikTok. So this is kind of cool. So, my name is Tracy. I host the podcast, Tracy's Magical Journey of Real Estate. So if you want to join my podcast, go ahead and join. I'm on Spotify. It's going to be great. This podcast is going to hold a lot of information, and it'll teach you a little bit about real estate if you're trying to be a real estate agent. So last night, first let me tell you where the office is at. We're in Lincoln Park. We're Lincoln Park, Michigan, and it's Vitality Real Estate Group. And you can find me on Google with a 5-star Google review with 69 reviews. So, all right, here we go. So last night we were talking about the real estate school. So, I joined, and like I said, I didn't want to mention the location of the school that I actually went to, but I go to the school, and I want to say it was a 7-day course. You go there, sit in class for a few hours, take a break, then it's like a lunch, and you take another break, da-da-da-da. So, I get into the school. I'm going to take you actually through all 7 days of the actual school. So the first day you get in there and you kind of get all of the information, the books, and how there's going to be tons of real estate agents kind of waiting outside the door to feed you lunch, right? Big joke, right? Because real estate can kind of get a little funny sometimes. So and I just want to say congratulations to Emmanuel Realty, which hosts me. I just want to say you guys are very much loved out there. Don't think that I'll never throw your name out there. So again, if you're looking for real estate, you either look me up or you look up Emmanuel Realty. She'll take care of you, Tina Frank. So to make a long story short, so I'm in this first day of class, and it's kind of rolling. I'm learning a little bit of stuff, and they're throwing information at you, and it's kind of coming quick, and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? I better pay attention. So, at lunch, I'm trying to get my stuff together. Oh my God, this is a little bit more serious than a lot of people think, right? That are taking the classes. And so, this is for all you people out there that want to become real estate agents, even you youngins, right? You want to become a real estate agent? Definitely become one. Don't let anyone ever try to stop you become a real estate agent. Just when you do become a real estate agent, just make sure that you're doing it right out there, right? Answer your phone when somebody calls, right? And especially if you have a client, don't have your phone off, disconnected. I mean, come on, we all can do better than that out here. So, I'm cruising through the first day of the course, and I'm thinking oh my God, this is kind of crazy. This is gonna cost seriously a lot of money. I'm sitting there thinking, if this actually happens, I'm gonna need thousands of dollars, and you're there to get a job, right? And you're thinking you're gonna make millions, but literally, you gotta really prepare yourself to understand that you're gonna need. And I'm going to be fair and be generous about it. Unless you kind of get lucky or you work for a really good firm that has a lot of stuff coming in at the moment, you might sit there and wait a few months before you're actually selling something. So my best advice to anybody would be to make sure you had, a few $1,000s to back you up. And that's just to get started. I mean, you're going to need business cards, you're going to need all kinds of different stuff, right? A web page. I mean, come on. I mean, you definitely need a web page. Here, I'll take some. So, yeah, it's funny. I'm I'm recording on TikTok and I got this little bear on my shoulder. But make a long story short, we get back to it. You got to be definitely prepared of what you're getting yourself into, right? These schools, of course, they're going to be like, yeah, come on, you're going to make millions. They're just trying to sell you a course, right? And it's just like the next person that gives you the job. They're just trying to sell you a desk, right? Fill up their office, make it look like they have tons of people. And the real truth is that you're paying for that slot. And it could cost you thousands. I mean, I'm not trying to, you know what, again, I won't mention the companies, but there's companies out there that charge you big money. Big money. I mean, at the end of the day, that alone might cost you 10, 12, 13,000. And I mean, some of them do it to where you got to sell so much and they keep taking so much until you get to that point, and then you get to keep the rest. But you better have a lot of stuff to basically back you up in this in the real estate, right? So you get kind of lost because, again, these people are just trying to sell you a desk, right? But at the end of the day, you know, you got to understand that it's just a gimmick, right? But it's got to be your gimmick. You got to understand, like, real estate, you got to feel the love for it, because one day you're going to hate it and the next day you're going to love it, right? Because you're making money, right? Like I got today a clear to close, right? Awesome. I'm about to make thousands of dollars, right? But what you guys all don't really understand is that I did a backpack drive at that location. It was like $1,300. I cut the grass probably about 4 or 5 times. So that was my time, right? We won't even count the little bit of gas or whatever. Big deal, right? Like, that's, you know, like if you sign with me, I always make sure that I cut your grass and I take care of your snow, right? And that's like a huge thing with me, because I feel like real estate agents, they already get away with a lot. Like we get away with a lot. Like, we have people paying us thousands of dollars, and what do? A little bit of paperwork. And so I appreciate anyone that's ever let me sell their home, right? So that's the first thing I want to say is any customer I've ever dealt with, I just want to appreciate and tell you that I love you from the bottom of my heart, because actually I love to do this. Like, real estate, I actually really love to do, right? But there's a little bit more to it than what people don't realize. You got to go, I go as the extra mile realtor, right? Like, I want people to know me as I'm going to go the extra mile for you, right? So you need a handrail built, you know, for your inspection, we're going to build it, but we're going to build it together, right? I'm not going to come in there and, I'm not saying I'm going to come in there and tear out all your cabinets of your home and, you know, we're going to do this big renovation and stuff, right? I'm not going to do that, but I'm definitely going to take care of the customer. You need help painting a living room, we're going to paint it together, right? That's the way you get to form relationships with people. And you know, again, anyone can sign paperwork and push it off, right? Even a person that has a problem with paperwork can find the office manager, and the office manager is going to take care of it, right? Because they're getting paid for it. So at the end of the day, you know, this first day of school, I realized that it's like, wow, like this is thousands. This is not just a little bit of money, right? Like, you know, if you're going to get a good website built, right? So you're talking, you know, anywhere between $2,500 to $3,500, and it could go up from there. You can get up to like $10,000 and you know, websites, right? And depending on how many pages you get and like all this, you know, all their crazy stuff. So, you know, be prepared when you're trying to become a real estate agent. Before you go to that school, save some money. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm telling you to do it, right? Enjoy what you want to do. Like, go out there and hustle, because it's, you know, real estate's, it's a hustle, right? So if you're going to enjoy it and you're going to push the right way, right? Like, that's why I'm here. I want to inform people, like, the real truth of it. I want you to know that, like, you're going to need, honestly, I'm going to say, if you really want to do it, you're going to need about $7,000 to $15,000, and you're talking that's going to cover your bills at your house. You're going to need to pay your bills at your house while you're trying to get your first customer and all that good stuff, right? So whatever your bills are, and then you're going to need like your desk fees and gas and like all that stuff, because you might get a customer for that first time that's going to run you around and have you from here to Mars and back, right? So be prepared for that, and that can happen for weeks in, weeks out. As a matter of fact, I have a client right now where I've taken them to multiple properties, and they don't like any of them. And guess what? That's what the extra mile realtor is here for, right? Because if you're not happy with something, we're not gonna take it. Don't do that. Don't buy something just because you feel like you have to, right? You move on. You go get something else. So I'm on this first day of real estate school, right? And you're teaching you all this stuff, and everyone's asking question after question, and I feel like, man, you guys are holding up this class. This is crazy. Like, and the questions you're asking is even crazier. But then I realize, maybe it's not really that crazy, right? Like, the whole real estate thing in itself is kind of crazy. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, scratching my head, like, oh man, I've gotten myself in a freaking mess. What have I done? So, but, you know, I'm the person that, like, when I start something, I have to follow through with it. So I'm like, oh man, I'm cooked. I need to really, like, do something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I better get it together, right? So, you know, I come home that first night, and I'm studying, and I'm taking it serious, right? Because now I realize, like, halfway through the day that this is going to be a lot harder than I think, right? And I'm just thinking, like, I better do a lot of studying, right? I'm not one of them book kind of people, so I better do what I have to do to make sure I get through this course, right? So that night, I'm just, you know, going through it, and I'm just kind of thinking, like, man, I'm really going to need a lot of money. So I started to put a plan together. And so that's when my first day of the journey of real estate kind of really happened for me. And we'll get into that through my podcast and stuff too. You can follow me on podcast, TikTok, Tracy's Magical Journey of Real Estate. And we will get at the end of why it really is really magical. Real estate can be its ups, and it can crash you like a plane, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, you gotta love what you do. If you don't like real estate, like if you don't like that curve of like riding a roller coaster, I wouldn't get on this train. I can tell you that, because this one's like a roller coaster. So, you know, so I go back to second day, right? I guess I get back to the school the second day. You know, it's like a morning class, it takes you all the way to the afternoon. It's an 8-hour course, and so I get there, and you know, we're starting to get further through the book, and I'm starting to get like, oh my God, like, this is like, there's a lot to this. Like, at the end of the day, like, oh my God, like, I need to really, now I'm pepping up my step, right? Like, I need to really get, I really need to get my stuff together and make sure that I'm really paying attention, because like now all of the stuff is getting like a little bit deeper into the real estate, right? Like I've been into real estate, like switching up houses and stuff for a long time at this point. So now I'm learning stuff that I've never even heard of. So now I'm like, oh my God, I'm gripping on tight, right? So I'm like, let me get a hold of this real quick. So, you know, they're teaching you, and I have to say the real estate school I went to, they definitely taught you right to the book, right? Like, they were a really good school. But again, when I'm talking about the school, when I'm talking about the school, it just kind of, you know, how can I say it without being mean? Like, I'm not stuck. I don't want to say the wrong thing and make anyone mad at me. It's just more of like how can I take this these people's money, right? Because half of the people, they don't understand the reality of it, right? Like, you have to know what you're doing before you go in there. Like with the money situation, right? Like half these people are gonna walk out. They've already paid you $500 to join this class, and they don't have $15,000 or $9,000 to, to follow through with real estate school and to become a real estate agent. And some people are lucky, right? Like some people are, like I said, they'll get that one moment where they'll hit a real estate office and they'll just get sale after sale. And then there's other people literally that will sit there for months, and then they'll literally almost quit their job, right? And then that's another thing I want to say. Don't quit that job. If that was something that you love to do and you work so hard to get that real estate license, don't do that to yourself. Go get a different job and just do that on a part-time like I do, right? I feel like I don't get enough listings. So at nighttime, I work at Ford Motor Company, and I'm going to take you guys through that tomorrow night. We're going to do a TikTok live as I walk through the tunnel of hell is what I call it, right? So, and during the day, I'll sell houses, and at night, I'll build your Ford Broncos. That's me, your guy. So, at the end of the day, don't ever give up on something that you love. Make sure that you follow through with it. Right? This is gonna be a little bit harder than you think, right? And if you're book smart and you're like one of them people that like fly through books and you're like really, you know what I'm talking about, like that really, really smart person. I'm not that smart person. Bless you if you are. And you're one of them lucky people. Just hopefully you get a place to where you kind of like fit in, right? So now I'm at the second day of this school, and they kind of get into like, how much money and the profits and stuff that you could be making, right? But the real reality is by the time everyone is starting to dig into your pockets, you feel like you're fighting a losing battle, right? But don't let it feel like that, because if you get a few listings a month, even if you got 2 listings a month, you can live off of that. Right? But they got to be consistent, right? Like one moment you could be selling, 30 houses in a year. The next year you might sell 5, right? All depends on what the market's doing, right? And thank God for the federal government. I just want to say thank you, Donald Trump and all the federal government, for dropping the interest rates, right? The feds, right? I just want to say thank you to you, right? Because that's going to help any real estate agent out here and anyone trying to buy a house save a few bucks and make a few bucks. So just please keep dropping it. And I'm sure anyone watching my show right now would totally agree. We need to get this, back dropped, because at the end of the day, who's making money? No one, if you have it gridlocked, right? No one's going to sell their house when they're on a 2% and they have to go to a 7%. It makes no percent. That makes no sense, right? And I think they just dropped the interest rate last week to 6.2 to 6.5 or something. So the thing is like, so I'm on the second day of this school, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like now, like all these questions and everything are like way harder. So what I'm saying is when you're there, make sure you pay attention. The first day is kind of like the first day at like literally school, right? Like you get your locker ready and the teachers and all that crap, right? But that second day, just make sure that you you're ready, because if you're not, you're gonna be upset, because you're gonna fall behind and you might fail. And then when you fail that test, it's gonna keep costing you more money. It's gonna keep costing you more money, right? So let's not let that happen to you, because that happened to me, right? And I would sit there, and I have to be honest with you, I probably, because they give you a recording of the course, right? So I'm done with the course, and I'm like, oh man, I need to retake this course, right? So I retake the course, and I actually go back into the real estate school, right? And I retake the course. So I'm like, man, like this is crazy. So I cannot lie. So I go back and I take the exam all over again, right? Bam! Happens again. Failed. I was like, oh my God. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you just failed again? Like, you've been working this hard at this and you failed again? And so, I can't lie to you. It drove like something into me, like a firework. So I went and I took the exam online like 4 times before I went and took the test again. And I failed again, right? Like, this can happen to you multiple times, right? But you've already paid all this money, right, in the background. So you've paid the real estate school at this point. Now you're paying now you're paying the state exams, right, which are like $85, right? So you're getting cracked with all these state exams, bam, 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 right? And that's getting into your pocket, and you're still not even a real estate agent at this point, right? So you're basically losing money, just losing money, right? And this is where a lot of people are like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'd watch so many people walk out of there like, I'm never coming back here. I failed 4 times. I failed 5 times. I'm never doing this again. And trust me, if you do fail, you're not the only one. I promise. You are not the only one that's going to fail that course. There's going to be tons of people that will fail it. Right? Just don't give up. You don't have to just walk out. You go back and you figure out what you did wrong and you go back and you fix it, right? Because that's what real estate is. Right? What are you going to do on a client when something happens with the paperwork and something gets tough? Because that's what's going to happen, right? Like, something's going to happen in the background where at the end of the day, it's going to get hard and you're going to have to figure out that situation for your client, right? So always make sure that you have their back, right? And do the drive, right? And that's why I'm here, because if you have any questions, you make sure you ask. Right? Anyone ask a question, it doesn't matter. And if I can't answer it, maybe someone on here can. But at the end of the day, I could tell you this. If it has something to do with real estate, I could probably figure it out for you. You know? Oh, baby, I'll come and get you in a second. I'll bring the doggy in a minute, and I'll let you guys see him. He's a cutie. So, anyway, so we'll hold another 8 minutes on this, and then we'll continue tomorrow. I kind of want everyone, this is the first time live on TikTok, and this is my second podcast. I can only keep my podcast for 30 minutes, so every other day we're going to hold a podcast. So at the end of the day, you know, I'm at the end of the second day of this real estate school, right? And you know, they're about to release everybody, and they're like, yeah, there's gonna be pizza in the hallway for everybody. And I have to be honest with you, I kind of knew there was no pizza in the hallway. I mean, come on, think about it, right? I'm just kind of laughing, like, are you kidding me? So there's people that actually ran out there and like started looking for this pizza, and I'm like, there's no dang pizza out there. Come on, think about it, guys. Like, they're just BSing you, right? Like, and so I want people to know, like, from the very beginning, it's going to be a lot harder, right? So I want you all to know that just don't give up, right? Especially in that first, that first run of stuff. So I have to be honest. So I come home that second night of real estate school, and I'm going through these exams. I bought all these cards, these flash cards that they'll sell you. They'll sell you anything you want. So, I'm going through these flash cards, and I'm trying to remember all this stuff. And I mean, the flash cards are like that, right? And I'm thinking, like, how am I going to remember all this in a week, right? Like, I guess I can wait a little bit longer, but if I wait, then I'm going to lose, like, all that freshness that was already in my head, right? So I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. And so I'm trying my hardest, right? I'm literally like, I got to get through these flashcards. And I'm not playing. There's a stack of flashcards like you've never seen before. So I'm just like, oh, man, what the hell have I gotten myself into? So, I'm reading, like, about all these different properties and easements and all this, technical real estate stuff, right? And I'm just, I'm loving every moment of it, but I'm thinking in my head, like, wow, I better really pay attention tomorrow, Because now tomorrow is going to be the third day, and I've only got 2 more days after that to really understand this, or it's going to cost me a lot of money. So, I can't lie, I go in the third day, I stop, I get some breakfast and stuff, and it wasn't any of these leaves, I promise you. So, I get in the third day, and, everyone's checking in and stuff, and they were like, yeah, how was yesterday for you? They're talking to me as I'm checking in. And I'm like, man, I went home last night and I went to bed so late trying to read all them flashcards. And, she kind of just giggles at me and stuff. And I'm thinking, like, man, boy, this shit's going to be hard. All right? So I want you guys all to follow me if you actually really want to be real estate agents, because I'm going to take you through the tricks and the trades of real estate. Right? I want everybody to really remember this, because I'm getting to the end of my podcast right now, and I'm going to finish that up, and I'm going to keep going live on TikTok, because I want some of you guys to understand before you go that there is a lot of money that you can make from real estate, right? But when the market locks up or anything like that plays in a factor, it could cost you. So just remember that. And this is not for TikTok. This is for my podcast. I just want to say goodnight to you guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. And we'll go on day 3 with Real Estate School. Thank you. And have a beautiful night. Vitalia Real Estate Group, Lincoln Park, Michigan. 5-star review on Google. Thanks.